Look back at your ancestors. Look back at your grandparents. Look back at what they did, what they lived through, the seeds that they planted so that you can afford to be in the circumstance that you are in today. If you are a Black American and you are breathing in the United States today, you are the luckiest, among the luckiest of Black people that have ever lived anywhere on the face of the planet. That is an incredible statement. All of human history, the luckiest Black people that have ever lived on the face of the human planet are the ones that are living and breathing in America today, okay? If you understand that, and you should understand it by simply saying, where would you like to live in Africa? For all that hoopla about they took us from Africa, find me a Black American that will tell you they want to move back to Africa. I will listen right now.
Or Europe. Why is it no?
I'll book the flights for them. Right? For any person that says we were stolen from our ancestors, I, Candace Owens, am pledging that I will book the flights if you renounce your U.S. citizenship for you to go live back in Africa.
All right, so speaking of books, I don't have a copy of Blackout here
Don't.
because the galleys have not arrived yet.
They have not arrived.
The galleys are on the way. I know that a lot of what we discussed here, obviously, is what Blackout is about. But what maybe did I miss, or should we hit on, or whatever else?
So Blackout for me, I really wanted to first and foremost lay out my personal story. There's been a lot of conjecture about where I came from, how I became conservative. Is she a fraudulent conservative? And all of that craziness, because people don't realize that I just was apolitical, if anything else. So
to be clear, you're not some sort of secret agent.
No, remember, you really have been there through all of it.
I've been there since the beginning.
Through. I mean, the YouTubers, like, digesting my entire life, saying, like, she must be a plant, like, I mean, a Soros plant. I'm like, I've never even voted. Like, I literally, prior to getting into things, I genuinely just was not politically inclined.
Yeah.
And I just thought I had to be a Democrat and thought I had to be a liberal. And, looking in the retrospect, I realized how foolish that is. That I didn't realize that everything that bad happened in my life was really routed to bad policies and bad politicians. But I wanted to first lay out just my personal story. The subtitle of the book is How Black America Can Make Its Second Escape from the Democratic Plantations. And I do believe, I say this all the time, people get upset, that Black Americans are still enslaved today, that the left just got smarter and they realized that you can't enslave people, their bodies. You can't have Black Americans on the plantation anymore, but you can still have Black Americans doing all of the work for you and reaping no benefit. And that is a structure that we see today between Black America and the Democratic Party. We are doing all of the work, we carry them over the finish line, and we benefit not in one single way. And so I really kind of lay out that argument and talk about what slave life was really like, the breakdown of family, why it was necessary for families to be broken down, to trade, constantly be trading slaves from one plantation to the next. They could have no feelings for one another. Frederick Douglass, in his autobiography, the first couple of pages, and he starts talking about his life as a slave, he talks about the fact that when his mother died, he felt nothing. When his sisters were traded and taken, he felt nothing. He had no sense of kinship, no familial love for his own blood. That was necessary to the institution of slavery. We still have that kinship and that relationship and that community still broken down all of these years later, despite the Reconstruction era post-slavery, which we saw Black American families getting back together. We were doing something. It's all been wiped away.
At a higher rate, by the way, until about 72 or so.
Yeah, in the 1950s, Black Americans were outpacing whites in terms of economic growth. And then immediately following, the 1960s and the Great Society Act and the systemic oppression, which started via the welfare system, everything started falling apart. Reading, another topic, going back to slavery. Black Americans, it was illegal for Black Americans to learn how to read. In fact, it was so illegal that if you were a white person, you were taught and you were caught teaching your slave to read, you would be found guilty too. It was a serious sin. The reason for that is because they didn't want Black people being educated, because an educated mind can't be enslaved. Well, what's changed? Look at the illiteracy rates in Black America today. Look at Baltimore. Look at the inner cities. Look at, we're in California. California, 70% of Black boys could not pass a basic literacy exam. Nobody is talking about that. You have politicians that are standing on stage saying that all they care about is Black Americans. They're not talking about everything that is harming Black Americans today, everything that is recreating the very same plantations that we came from.
Did you catch that brilliant line that Bernie had in one of the debates, which is he's not only so pro-marijuana that he wants it to be legal, but he also wants to have Black business owners owning black marijuana shops
Right.
in black communities.
I did not catch that
And again,
line.
I say this as someone that's pro-legalizing weed,
Right.
but like, we're going to incentivize black people to own black marijuana
Right.
shops in black communities. That
Right, but that's why I don't celebrate. By the way, why I am conservative on the marijuana front is because when you talk about where this is happening, Chicago, I think, just passed marijuana laws. It is, to me, I know it's going to lead to more dysfunction, amongst Black America first and foremost, because that's how it always is. It's what is it about progressive policies that always leads to progressive results for the Black community first and foremost, and so I am loath. To be smart enough to see the debate between alcohol and marijuana, so that I can't firmly say no to marijuana. But I have a thinking brain, and I just don't see how conservatives can make a sound argument against it at the moment.
What else has to happen for the black community to break? I'm going to guess, although I don't have the book yet, that at the end you either make some predictions or you tell people what tools they need to really break out of this.
Yeah, it's not even about making predictions, and I have my own personal predictions, but I definitely am not doing that in the book. I'm giving Black Americans a guide. I'm giving Black Americans an option, the same option that I saw before me when I started waking up, and I'm having this conversation with you. You can have the option to accept this victim narrative, right? You can have the option to say, I accept this diagnosis of cancer, even though I feel fine, walk fine, and have been living fine my entire life. I accept that it's terminal illness, and I'm going to live like I'm going to die any moment. Or you can develop a different perspective, and you can develop a victor mentality, as I say. Forget the victim mentality, develop a victor mentality. Look back at your ancestors. Look back at your grandparents. Look back at what they did, what they lived through, the seeds that they planted, so that you can afford to be in the circumstance that you are in today. If you are a Black American and you are breathing in the United States today, you are the luckiest, among the luckiest of Black people that have ever lived anywhere on the face of the planet. That is an incredible statement. All of human history, the luckiest Black people that have ever lived on the face of the human planet are the ones that are living and breathing in America today, okay? If you understand that, and you should understand it by simply saying, where would you like to live in Africa? For all that hoopla about, they took us from Africa, find me a Black American that will tell you they want to move back to Africa. I will, listen, right now.
Or Europe. Why is it no?
I'll book the flights for them. Right? For any person that says we were stolen from our ancestors, I, Candace Owens, am pledging that I will book the flights if you renounce your U.S. citizenship for you to go live back in Africa.
You want to cap this at maybe at 10 people,
Nope,
just in case people are punking
there's
you?
None. There's none. We did this. We did the same craziness with the Trump. I hate America. Everyone offered them money and flights. I think you might have. Don Jr. might have. Nobody took the bait, right? Because they know America is the greatest place they could possibly live. And
you know what? If someone takes you up on this, I'll guarantee one first-class upgrade.
That's amazing.
I will do that.
There we go, right here.
I will do that.
One first-class upgrade
There
to
you
go
go.
to America, but you have to renounce your citizenship to America and move to Africa. If that's really what you want to do.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.